To always get the latest Game Tea, do not forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Game Tea Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Game Tea Podcast X. We post memes, gaming news, retweet friends of the pod, and of course let you know when new episodes are available for your listening pleasure. Links are all available in the description of this episode, so check them out after the show, and thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Game Tea Podcast. My name is JP.
I'm Peaches.
And I'm Czar.
All right, boys, how are we doing today? Everybody feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm having a good day.
Even though you were late?
Yeah, especially because I was late. That means I got to sleep for an extra hour.
Yeah, okay. So
that's how you take one back
Peach
from
is
daylight
here.
savings.
So, fun fact here: Peaches does not live in the same Peaches does not live in the same state as Czar and I, and he's an hour behind us. So he keeps saying that his state has the real time, and we're saying he's full of shit and nobody cares about mountain time, or mountain people for that matter of fact. Peaches, how would you respond?
I would say mountain time is the real time. I mean, obviously nobody cares about mountain people. That's just a universal given. But mountain time is the best time because, well, you guys are off going to bed at, you know, your plus 1 hour. I'm still awake gaming for an extra hour. So
yeah, but then by your logic, anyone who is behind you an hour is the best time.
I agree with that.
You know, I think you're wrong, but I do respect you for sticking to your guns like that. All right. I have a lot of talking to do today, so who wants to do itinerary? And his name is not JP.
You know what? I was late. I can do itinerary and the kind of long list of what's it called? Game releases. That's what they're called today. So today on the podcast, we are talking about Sony getting some more IPs. And then we're talking about Sony some more when Sony wants to get in on fighting game tournaments. Ooh. And Xbox is late as usual with their upcoming showcase.
Yeah.
Ha!
And then we got some quick takes.
Quick takes.
It's gonna be, yeah, I've got a lot of talking to do today. Not just even with the articles, but with the segments. So I've got my water, I've got my Girl Scout cookies, because both of those are definitely essential to doing this. And
oh, dude. I wish I had Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, we eat them so fast in this household. They're gone in an instant.
Fuck.
I know this has nothing to do with gaming. What's your guys' cookie of choice?
Peanut butter patty.
Definitely. Fuck the Thin Mints. Those are overrated.
Yeah.
No.
A fellow Thin Mint hater.
Wants mint and chocolate? No.
No, that's incorrect. That is a universally accepted combination right there. That is the combination of champions. Although it's not my favorite.
If you're confused about whether eating or brushing your teeth with a certain candy, it's probably not a freaking candy.
Anyways, peep the Girl Scout cookie tier list coming from the Game Tea Podcast Twitter later, huh?
Shameless self-plug.
The French toast Girl Scout cookie that they just came out with is to die for.
Wait, I haven't even heard about that one.
Oh my god, it's so unbelievably good. It's like eating the milk from Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Dude. I want it.
Yeah. I just blew a lot of people's minds just now. All right, should we actually talk about the games?
No, I want to talk about cookies.
Okay, yeah, look, I could talk about cookies all day, and I mean that genuinely. I love cookies. Oh,
agreed.
All right, let's get into this. All right, the first article today is coming to us from GamesRadar.com, written by Ali Jones. So, Ali, thank you very much. It's entitled Assassin's Creed's Creator Announces New PlayStation Exclusive. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Another one.
So coming straight from the article, Jade Raymond, best known as the creator of the Assassin's Creed series, is working on an exclusive PlayStation game at her newly announced studio, Haven. In a PlayStation blog post today, Raymond announced Haven, quote-unquote, an independent studio where many of the talented game developers I have worked with for years are coming together to do what they are most passionate about, end quote. Explaining her team's desire to make games without any barriers or impediments, Raymond goes on to explain that we want to create worlds where players can escape, have fun, express themselves, and find community, and that Haven will be working with Sony's backing and support. Okay, so TLDR, Jade Raymond, who created the Assassin's Creed series, created her own brand new studio called Haven, where she's pulling talent from all over the gaming industry, and it sounds like most of those games are going to be PlayStation exclusives. So, I know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
No sourpuss today, okay? I mean it. I want genuine hot takes. So, Czar, how do you feel about this?
I mean, do they need any more IPs?
I mean, do I need more do I need more Girl Scout cookies? That's right, we're back on the cookies.
I think it's a good step for PlayStation and Sony to accumulate more IPs like this. I also think it's right on the heels of PlayStation being known as not letting anyone else have the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like, Xbox is all about, hey, Bethesda just got signed. We own Bethesda now. And PlayStation's like, oh, well, since Xbox started talking, I guess we have something to share too.
Yeah, it's too convenient that stuff like this happens, right? It's like
right on the heels.
PlayStation literally waits for Nintendo or for Xbox to do something and like, oh, that's cool, but check this out.
But
like,
we have this.
They've probably had this in their back pocket for quite some time, and they were waiting for someone else to get the spotlight. So obviously, Xbox getting Bethesda was huge freaking news, and they're like, yeah, I guess that's cool, but brand new studio made by Assassin's Creed creator with PlayStation exclusives. Trump card, bitch! Flips table.
Your move, Xbox.
I mean, PlayStation did... I don't want to say they lost an exclusive, but, with Horizon Zero Dawn going to PC, it's kind of like they lost an exclusive, even though they're kind of regaining it once the next one comes out that's going to be exclusive to, like, PS5, I think. But, might as well just bolster the roster of games.
Yeah, precisely. And you make a great point there in that, Horizon Zero Dawn was already a PlayStation exclusive and had its time in the spotlight for years before they actually allowed it to go onto PC. And Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is probably going to be a PlayStation exclusive in the same manner. And don't get me wrong, I love watching PlayStation fanboys ruin their gaming equipment as much as the next guy and then posting it on Twitter as some type of social statement. I live for that. But I think you make a great point there.
And I mean, that's I'm rooting for it to not be an exclusive, not based on any console race or anything, but just because I want to see the chaos and destruction that follows. Chaos!
You weren't here for this part, Peaches, but Czar said that he would love a PlayStation Digital, which we're hereby calling the PSD. The PSD.
I'm sure it's a fine console.
I'm just saying, like, I know we had the debate a while ago, but like, if you pick up the digital console for $400 and then you pay for a year of online, yeah, that was just $450 you dropped, but you get 20 amazing games and you've kind of just gotten, access to everything else that's going to be coming out in the next few years, PlayStation exclusive wise. I'm just saying, it's a good time to be a PlayStation fan.
Well, on that note, just a brief divergence. I really haven't been feeling like this has been a console war because we're seeing so many opinions like mine and JP's where JP's completely PlayStation and I'm completely Xbox, but we want to get the digital edition of the competitor's console because it's so accessible. It just hasn't been feeling like much of a war this time around. Everybody's just kind of wanting every console.
That's absolutely true. I kind of do want the Series S as soon as I can get my hands on it. That is true.
So, like, I feel like the console wars were between the scalpers and the regular people that actually want to get the console.
That's the actual war.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great point, because scalpers have always been prominent around times like this, but obviously because of hardware shortages from the pandemic, like, I've never seen it at this crazy level, you know?
Yeah, it's rough right now.
Yeah, but I don't remember, like, when we were all looking for the Nintendo Wii back when that was released in 2007. Did that prompt scalpers to, like, take all those consoles, or was it just so hard to get because everybody wanted a Wii?
You know what's funny is that you mentioning that, my mom, when she got me the Wii Christmas morning of the year it was released, she bought it off of a scalper because she couldn't get one off in the stores. But the scalper had a markup of $50, and that was considered a lot.
Oh God!
Wow.
So, you know. So it kind of drops in the ocean at that point when, you know, I literally looked
in perspective.
Yeah. Like, for the segment we're doing on Friday or on Saturday, I wanted to take a look at how we're doing with scalpers just to see. They've got like $500 to $600 markups, and people are buying, you know?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, at that point you have to ask the question, like, scalpers are going to scalp, but shouldn't we also be condemning the people who are buying a little bit?
Well, yeah, because they're just feeding into this practice.
Exactly. Like, the scalpers wouldn't be successful if you weren't the ones who are allowing them to be. Why would you pay $1,000 for a gaming console that's worth $500 when you could just wait a few months?
Peaches, you sounded like you had a counterpoint here.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't want to condemn the people, you know, like, because there are a lot of people that just want to, you know, they want to give it as a gift, and they don't, you know, they can't wait, because if it's a gift, you know, that's usually within a time period. And I don't want to condemn the people that are doing it for reasons like that, especially like for the people that are just impatient, you know. But like for the people that are, you know, specifically buying it as a gift and they're on a time frame, and the scalpers are keeping them from getting it by marking it up by like double the price or like double in some percent. It's like, I get where they're coming from, because, you know, they feel like they're on a time constraint and they're probably stressed and they didn't expect the whole situation, so they're willing to just deal with it. But for everyone else, it's just like, yeah, I'll pay double the price because I want it now. It's like, God damn it, you're ruining it for the rest of us.
And it all comes back to instant gratification.
And to come full circle with the article that we're talking about now, with Jade Raymond's new studio Haven being opening up, do you think announcements like this are going to entice more people to continue buying off the scalpers?
I hope not.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't know if this specific one is going to be like, oh, I got to get my PS5. Because the thing is, this studio has nothing for a long time. Like, it's going to be a couple years, I think, before we see even like a trailer from the studio, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
You're absolutely right. Because they haven't actually been like, here's what we're planning on doing. But I mean, the news in itself that Jade Raymond is opening Haven is extremely exciting, but you do make a good point, you know? It's not like we have a project of hers that's coming out within the next few months. It's just, we're not going to see anything from Haven for probably like 3 to 4 years, at least.
Well,
definitely.
But JP, I mean, you brought up a very good point for our little diversion right there that we had about the consoles and scalpers. Like, game studios and specific IPs and more hyped games could essentially keep feeding into those scalpers, which sucks.
I genuinely think that the scalper problem can be partially contributed to Demon's Souls when it comes to PlayStation. I genuinely believe that, because I love my PlayStation 5, but the fact is there wasn't a lot of launch titles, and even now, like 4 months in, there's still not a lot of games that are PlayStation 5 exclusives, except for Demon's Souls, which is, albeit a great, phenomenal game that I'm having a great time playing, is kind of a little bit contributing to the issue, even though they didn't intend to be. You know, it's not like the creators were like, we're gonna do this to kind of help the scalpers. That wasn't the mindset. I'm just saying that it's kind of helping the scalpers a little bit, because if you want to be the one to play the latest and greatest, it's like, oh, well, there you go. You gotta get the PlayStation now.
You know, could you imagine if the scalpers were also scalping games, you know, just buying the entire market? Actually, you know what? That's not even possible anymore now that I think about it, because of digital.
Yeah,
But
digital completely stopped that from being a thing.
Why can't we just have digital consoles? It's so easy. Why did no one else think of this?
Well, because I like physical copies.
Well, I mean,
oh my god.
There's also other problems with a digital console, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we are hitting a lot of great points in this PlayStation conversation. We're actually, I think a lot of it could be well saved for the conversation we're having on Saturday for the segment that we're doing, which we'll talk about more here in a little while. But for now, all that we need to know from this article, because we've gotten off the rails a little bit.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Assassin's Creed creator Jade Raymond made her own studio Haven. I think she's going to be taking a lot of different talent from the industry into the studio with her because, come on, it's Assassin's Creed. If Jade Raymond is like, hey, you, working for whatever, you're coming with me, they just go like, well, fuck me, I'm coming.
I'm in.
Yeah, she's got a lot of name value with her for sure. So I'm curious what the studio's going to be putting out because, Assassin's Creed started off as like just the really, cool cinematic kind of game. It's developed into Call of Duty where it's like every year there needs to be a new Assassin's Creed, I guess. But I am curious what they're going to be putting out next because initially, especially at the start of Assassin's Creed, it was really good. And I'm curious what she's got coming next.
Now, the PlayStation news does not stop there today. The second article, which is also going to be coming from me, is entitled, Sony is now part owner of EVO, the most prestigious fighting game tournament. Now, this is a different article that's coming to us from TheVerge.com, written by Jay Peters. So thank you very much, Jay. So a little bit of this article.
JP.
Yes.
This was, when I picked this article out for you, this guy's also JP. Just fun little.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Although the P actually comes from my middle name, because my initials are JPB.
I know, but can we just...
Peaches,
you please?
Peaches, I would love to tell you that it's the thought that counts, buddy. But it's not. And you tried, and you failed. And also, I hate you.
That's fair. I get that one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. You got me there, but nobody hates me more than me. Oh, no, I appreciate ya, Peaches.
Thanks, man.
Although my brother said he's a bigger fan of grapes.
Lols.
Well, again, your brother is being real mean right now.
So about this article.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so like the title says, Sony is now part owner of EVO, the most prestigious fighting game tournament around. So reading straight from the article, Sony and RTS, a new venture from Endeavor's esports business, have acquired the prestigious EVO fighting game tournament through a joint venture esports partnership. The terms of the acquisition were not disclosed due to contractual commitments. Fighting games have been a vital part of PlayStation's legacy and our community since the very beginning, and we've been thrilled to partner with EVO over the years, Stephen Roberts, VP of Global Competitive Gaming at Sony Interactive Entertainment, said in a press release. This joint acquisition with RTS marks a new chapter of collaboration with EVO's co-founders, Tom and Tony Cannon, and their passionate community of fighting game fans. Tom and Tony Cannon also shared a message to the EVO community regarding the acquisition. The new partnership is committed to bringing amazing tournaments and competitive gaming experiences back to you this year and beyond, they said. And this was actually from a tweet where they kind of tweeted that out. So, let's start talking. First of all, if you don't know what EVO is, it is an annual competition for fighting games, usually for more like... It was at one point more like, PlayStation and like kind of everybody else with their fighting games. But now that Sony has a backseat to EVO, you're probably going to be seeing a lot of PlayStation exclusives going on here. And you can actually take a look at this list here for some of the fighting games in case you were confused. So they held the Guilty Gear Strive tournament, the Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate tournament, all the Street Fighters, and of course, Tekken. Probably the most famous fighting game ever made, maybe besides Super Smash Bros. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Bros on this fighting game list?
It's a Nintendo. You think Nintendo's gonna give up Smash?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, at a fighting game tournament, you'd expect Smash to be there. I mean, I guess Smash kind of warrants an audience all on its own.
And you are absolutely right, except even before Sony had a stake at EVO, you know that Nintendo probably wasn't going to play well with the rest of these guys. It's literally that meme where Squidward's looking down to SpongeBob and Patrick on the ground, like playing and having fun. You know what I'm talking about? SpongeBob
Right.
and Patrick being PlayStation and my Xbox, and Squidward being Nintendo. They just don't like to play well with others.
Yeah, if they're not the highlight and the only thing on stage, they're not coming.
Mm-hmm. Hell, they don't even play well with themselves sometimes. Remember that whole Splatoon debacle?
Yeah.
All right, so that's not the point. The point here is we've got an amazing series of fighting games that EVO has presented, and now we have Sony with a direct stake in these fighting games. So I wanted some opinions from you two on these, starting with Czar. Czar, kind of, what's your take on this going on right here?
I don't honestly know what it means for Sony to be in the backseat of this, but I don't know. I always enjoy a good fighting game tournament. I don't participate ever because I'm garbage at these types of games, but it's really fun to watch.
You really are.
No,
buddy.
man, I've never played you.
I haven't Smash Bros.
Well, okay, yeah, that's completely accurate. But no, it's really cool watching people who are actually good at these play, and I always love seeing another esport make a highlight in, sporting events in general.
And that's a great point, Czar, because it's like, even if you're not someone who actively participates in like the tournaments and being a part of these games, it's a part of gaming culture. It's like these competitions for
the
fighting
League of
games.
Legends tournament every year just because
Exactly.
it's fun to see gaming.
Exactly. It's just a part of the culture, even if you're not like directly participating. So it is exciting. And Peaches, what about you? What's your take on this?
I think it's important that we kind of recognize like EVO it's a big tournament that a lot of people care about. And like one of the biggest highlights in esports where like the guy who was playing pulled off like a perfect block in Street Fighter. Like I think it was like Street Fighter 3 where he like perfectly blocked like, I don't know, some super mega attack that you can do in Street Fighter, where it's like he perfectly timed like 11 blocks on this attack and like was able to like come back and like get the win. Like that highlight, I'm pretty sure comes from EVO from back in the day. And so like this is a big tournament and it's produced highlights.
Yeah, and see, that's what I want to watch.
And I mean, Sony being like now part owner instead of like just in, I think before, weren't they just like they invested in this like as an advertiser, like they would like, be like a sponsored by Sony or something.
Yeah, it was essentially to that point, where it would be like at an E3 or any other type of gaming conference where, Sony would be willing to put their names on things, but they never had like, besides brand recognition or like promoting things, they never had a real dog in the race. And now they do. Yeah,
I think it makes sense for Sony to be involved in this, because when you think of like Tekken specifically, when I think of Tekken and like Mortal Kombat, I think of PlayStation. So it surprises me that they didn't try to make this move sooner. Maybe they were waiting to see like what the esports space looks like and then get into it. But it makes sense that Sony would be this involved in it.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Those are both great points. One final question is there any bit of concern from either of you about Sony having this stake at EVO now? Maybe them trying to like turn maybe them like trying to push certain restrictions or things on EVO, or like have more of like an agenda that caters towards Sony rather than, the games at hand. Was there any bit of concern that you guys felt when you read this article?
I doubt that. I think Sony's going to take the approach that we have been saying, ironically enough, like this entire article, is they're going to be in the back seat, like they're going to profit a shitload off of this and, enjoy the gaming experience. I don't think they're going to try to run it or like they'll probably make their brand a lot more aware amongst the events because, they have a bigger stake. And I don't think they're going to let other things like Xbox or, God forbid, Nintendo make it on their ad block.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
But I mean, I don't think anything aside from that is going to come from this. It just means good things for gamers.
All right, fair enough. And Peaches, what about you?
I can't imagine what they would do that could really hurt this competition. I think what they've done is they essentially just injected more money into the competition, so it could probably be even better, is my view of it. And also, you have to remember they're going to be motivated to like make the most money they possibly can with this. So they probably don't want to mess with the formula that's already making money too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. And, you know, it's not like Sony's acquiring something that was like, you know, moderately popular or just got off the ground. This is EVO, you know, quote unquote, the most prestigious fighting game tournament ever. So, you know, EVO already had that name. You're right. And I'm sure there was some type of like contractual agreement with Sony. Like, look, you know, like if you want to be part owner of this competition, that's perfectly fine. But we've built a reputation and we've built a following and we've built loyalty amongst people, and we don't want that ruined. So if you want to be a part of this, that's fine. But we're going to have to lay some restrictions down. And honestly, it's good for Sony too, because it's like, oh, you're saying that we don't have to put much more effort into this, but we get a part of your earnings? Gee, that sounds terrible.
Oh, God, no.
No,
please.
Jeez.
We wanted to micromanage.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for Sony's news for the news this week. Lots of really exciting things happening to them, but we also do have some Xbox news, and that's where I'm going to pass it off to our good buddy Czar. Czar, what's going on in Xbox?
It's really hard to talk about this because it's a lot of Xbox hype, and, you know, knowing the previous articles that we just discussed, it just kind of feels moot at this point. But we have an indie showcase set for Xbox on March 26th. And this is coming to us from GameInformer.com by Marcus Stewart. So thank you, Marcus. And this is verbatim from the article, and this is why I say it's really hard to say this line. Coming off of a big last few weeks, Microsoft will be streaming an Xbox Indie Showcase on March 26th, live on the Xbox Twitch channel. So what does that mean for us? It basically means that we're going to be treated to a big basket of upcoming indie titles from a plethora of new studios. And now this will kick off at 9 a.m. PT. So, Peaches, you know what time that is? You gonna be late for that event?
Yeah, probably. Dude, I don't watch things live anymore. I am always just watching like the stream of it that already happened. So it's I'm 100% gonna be late to this.
You could wake up whenever the fuck you want and just watch it on YouTube.
No, that's fair.
You know, I wonder how much excitement there is going to be. I don't know how. Before I get into my take on it, is there any more of the article you wanted to get into, Czar?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the confirmed titles, because I think there's going to be like over 25 game debuts with 100 titles in total. But these are the confirmed. God. Yeah, it's a big showcase. There's going to be Second Extinction, which we've seen a little bit on that. Void Train, Stalker 2, which we talked about a few weeks ago, The Ascent, Exo 1, and The Wild at Heart.
Very cool.
Yeah, some pretty big indie titles. There's also going to be an appearance by some Twitch streamers too, or yet to be named Twitch streamers, but with how big Twitch is, I would imagine we might see like Ninja there or something.
Apparently Ninja is not hard to book. That dude just shows up fucking everywhere.
Dude, it's all about that paycheck.
Oh my goodness. Peaches, it sounded like you had a take.
So my take on this is like, I wonder, do you think this is going to be like more of a entertainment type event with these like Twitch streamers? Or do you think that this is like purely going to be like an advertisement slash kind of like game release schedule? Because I can't really tell, because they're doing it, you know, on Twitch, which I don't think, has anybody else like gone through Twitch? Usually they go through like live streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a turn from what I understand of what they usually do. And I'm curious what their plan for the event is.
I think it's going to be like a big party, you know, it's going to be an informal gaming showcase because, you know, these are all indie titles, and they're going to be presented by Twitch streamers. I think, yeah, it's just going to be a big party. Everybody's going to have a lot of fun. They're going to try out some of these games. We're going to get a lot of input from the community.
There's going to be Girl Scout cookies.
Yo!
Only if you can supply your own. It's B.y.o.c.
B.y.o.c.
Bring your own cookies.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, Czar, can you explain why Xbox is deciding to do this weeks after all the cool kids have already done their showcases?
I don't know, because now PlayStation can't really step their foot in since they've already showcased their stuff. See, you can't be overshadowed if you just go last and you're late to everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you're saying you should be late to things. That's interesting.
No, don't you go proving your own point.
All right, so my take on this is you boys know how much I fucking love indie titles. And I love PlayStation, but for indie titles, like, they're more big AAA titles, whereas, like, you know, Nintendo and Microsoft tend to give a lot more attention towards indie titles. I'm extremely excited for these showcases because I know that indie titles oftentimes put so much heart and so much more fun into a lot of their games than even these AAA titles do. And I think dedicating an entire showcase just to an amazing plethora of indie titles is outstanding. I love it. I can't wait to watch this event.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a big informal gaming showcase. And I'm really excited that it's on Twitch because we'll be able to see fan interaction, you know? Like at E3, you don't get to hear the people gasp or be like, oh yeah! But you'll get to see those comments on Twitch now.
And, you know, again, since it's an indie, excuse me, since it's an indie showcase, we don't have to see anybody present Just Dance 2020 or 2021. Oh, God.
Or Grand Theft Auto 5 coming.
Okay, real question here. Since it is Xbox, do you still think we're going to get the world premiere every game?
I'm turning it off if we do. World premiere. We get it.
We get it. Nobody's seen it yet.
God.
Just show the damn game.
You know, I'm curious, you know, just how many games they're going to be doing. And also with the last Xbox showcase, kind of what they did, from what I remember, is they had like a huge pre-show and then like a much shorter, like actual showcase. So like the pre-show was like all that stuff with the, you know, a lot of talking to developers and just kind of showing like B-roll. And like that went on for like 50 minutes. And then the actual showcase went on for like 45 minutes. So I hope they don't do that again. I hope it's like as soon as the stream starts, you know, 5 minutes, give everybody a chance to get in, and then you're rolling, you know?
Yeah, but if they do, it'll probably be a lot of, you know, hanging out and talking with the Twitch streamers.
I'm also curious what Twitch streamers they're going to be bringing in, because like apparently these Twitch streamers are going to be doing interviews, and off the top of my head, I don't know what Twitch streamers are good interviewers. You know, like it's one thing to be a good interviewer and another thing to be a good Twitch entertainer. So I'm curious who they got to do these interviews. I'm really curious who they got because I watch a good amount of Twitch, and off the top of my head, I don't know like who would be the best at doing these interviews and like who would do a proper job like kind of getting people excited for these games. Because on Twitch, most of these guys are like PC gamers.
Off the top of my head, like I think Tim the Tatman would be a solid pick. If like I bet they're gonna probably try and do as much diversity in here as they can as far as like, you know, men and women, different ethnicities. So Tim the Tatman is probably gonna be like a great pick in my opinion. And then Pokimane just can't help but showing up places, invited or not, so she's probably gonna be there.
You know, I think Pokimane gets a lot of unjust hate.
We can talk about that later because that's a whole barrel of monkeys that we can't jump into right now. But just so you know, I disagree strongly.
Oh, okay. Well,
we'll talk. No, we'll talk about it later.
I have a side thing kind of related to this. Since Dr. Disrespect just randomly got banned from the platform, I think he would do really entertaining interviews. Even though I don't watch his content on Twitch. Well, it's not on Twitch anymore. But even though I didn't watch him when he was on Twitch, I think he would have been able to do some really entertaining interviews with his whole persona. But they kicked him off for weird shadow reasons that nobody knows still.
Shadow government. Yeah,
that's true.
Tinfoil hat time?
No!
Are we getting the tinfoil hats out again?
No!
Do you still have one for everybody?
Oh, yeah. I have extras.
I have extras for your dogs and cats.
I got Zach sitting beside me. He never took his.
I guess if you remember the last big Xbox showcase where we heard world premiere a million times, Jacksepticeye was their first guest of honor that kind of came in, and Sean's usually a pretty good interviewer, and he's usually pretty authentic when he speaks too.
Is he solely YouTube?
I mean, any big YouTuber could just hop on Twitch for a little while, and be like,
that's true.
Sean and Mark and Felix and, all the big gaming YouTubers have Twitch channels that they go on occasionally. If Sean really needed to, he could hop on.
Yeah, but let's be real. I don't think Xbox is going to put them in the highlight if it's going to be an indie showcase. I think it's going to be maybe some smaller Twitch streamers too.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I can't imagine that Xbox would get someone like PewDiePie, because I think he does Twitch streaming. Or wait, no, he does YouTube streaming. He's on a contract with them. But after his heated gamer moment, we will call it, back in the day.
That's one way of putting it.
I think he's a little too hot to put into this, but I could imagine Jacksepticeye, because I think he's done Twitch streaming. I remember he was in on that Among Us craze, and he played with a bunch of other Twitch streamers.
Yeah, I think I see him on his Twitter saying that tonight we're playing Among Us with these people on Twitch. So I think Sean is actually pretty big into the Twitch streaming currently.
And he knows Phil Spencer personally too, which kind of helps, because
he does.
Well, I mean, they've worked together on so many different projects at this point.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Sean's talked about it before. I just had a conversation with Phil Spencer the other night, and I'm super casually. I'm they're two giants in the industry that mutually benefit by knowing each other. So yeah, they're close.
Can you imagine just being able to call up these huge titans of business? I just got off the phone with Bezos. He's doing all right. It's whatever.
That old chrome dome. Lex Luthor looking ass.
That's good stuff. Totally fucking looks like a Superman villain. What the fuck?
All right. So, Xbox Indie Showcase set for March 26th, 9 p.m. Or sorry, not 9 p.m. Peaches is going to be 13 hours late if I say that. 9 a.m. Pacific time.
We doing a watch party? We're going to all get together in Discord, get our chips and sodies?
Dude, I'd be down. I could do some chips and dips and Girl Scout cookies. Yeah.
Yeah. B.y.o.c.
B.y.o.c.
Actually, that works for both bring your own chips and your own cookies. So
hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. What about quick takes? Peaches, give us your quick takes for the day. What do we got going on?
All right. We got the first quick take is TFT hits 10 million daily players at its recent peak. And for those that do not know, Teamfight Tactics is a auto chess by Riot Games, the people who make League of Legends. Teamfight Tactics is literally just auto chess with the League of Legends characters. And for those that don't know what auto chess is, it's you take these characters, you put them on a board, you power them up, and then they automatically fight each other, and you don't really have to do much. But
so it takes the tactics out of chess.
So imagine chess if chess was nothing like chess. And that's pretty much what auto chess is.
How am I supposed to imagine that? What?
I don't want to get too in the weeds on what auto chess is. But This is actually kind of huge because Teamfight Tactics was the last auto chess to get released. Because Dota Underlords came out before it. And also, I think Hearthstone Battlegrounds counts as an auto chess. And so like it took a while for like League of Legends to get into the auto chess market, but they are absolutely crushing it right now. And I mean, they got a mobile app, and I'm willing to bet a lot of these like peak play, like this 10 million peak came from people playing on mobile. Because like if you're on the League client, chances are you're playing League of Legends.
Yeah, that's fair.
But 10 million players is nuts, and especially like since a lot of people kind of forgot about Teamfight Tactics after it got released last year, or maybe honestly, it could have been 2 years ago. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, congratulations, Teamfight Tactics, on 10 million. Moving on to the next quick take. You got Control Dev says making games for 2 generations of consoles sucks.
Yeah, I bet it does.
My quick take on that is, yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Props.
I just thought this was interesting because it's like, it's nice to see someone finally like talk about it, because we saw this with Cyberpunk. You know, like a huge issue was they were working for PC, the next gen consoles, and the last gen consoles, and it just absolutely is a dumpster fire on the last gen consoles, though Cyberpunk has 1.2 update coming out soon. Nice job, Cyberpunk. But like, it's good to see like another dev come out and say this, because I think a lot of us take for granted that making like just how vastly different 2 generations of consoles are. And so, you know, you just got to keep in mind when you're playing like these games that are releasing for multiple gens of consoles, you can't trash these the developers, like the people, not the developers like the company. Don't trash these developers too much, because they're doing a lot of hard work.
Well, yeah, I mean, whenever the new consoles come out, you always see that generational gap of like, these specific games will be made for both generations. And you just kind of expect it at this point, but you never really think about how difficult it is making essentially 2 identical copies of a game that are vastly different.
And Peaches brought up the great point of using Cyberpunk as the example, because we've seen games flop because of this before, where you're getting very different kinds of reviews of the game because they spent more time like polishing up one version rather than another.
Yeah, well,
you know?
it's basically on the previous gen, it's a dumpster fire. On the current gen, or next gen, I guess, it's a couch fire. And then if you're on PC, it's not your couch or dumpster that's on fire and you're just watching it.
You
just look at all the peasants off in the distance with their fires.
And then you realize a spark hit your pants and now you're T-posing naked.
On top of a motorcycle. Oh, I love that game.
I mean, that's just me on a day-to-day. Like, when I wake up, that's how I start the day.
That's how I get to school.
How else are you supposed to assert dominance?
That's true. That's true.
Moving on, we got Terraria has now sold 35 million copies. Holy shit, guys.
That game's frustrating.
But popular.
Yeah, popular.
We've talked about Terraria a bit when I was talking about how great Valheim is, because Valheim clearly took some inspiration from Terraria. But, I mean, Terraria is doing very, very well in their own right. And I think it's on every console at this point, right? Like, it's on Xbox and PS4.
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere.
I had this for the 360.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, the 360.
Yeah, this is an old game.
Yeah, but they've put out a lot of free updates with this game. Like this and Stardew Valley, both a lot of free updates coming with this game. Like you spend $20 and you get a lot of content, like both right when you buy it and in the future, depending on when you bought it. I think Terraria has now ended development, and they like officially announced that a while back. But this is still really cool that they've officially sold 35 million copies, and I'm pretty sure they're an indie developer.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see an indie developer be this successful. And I'm really curious what they got coming next. At the same time as that, Terraria moved into the #1 spot on the Steam top 250 best games of all time.
Holy crap,
Wow.
that's insane.
And
Jeebus. It beat out Portal 2?
It beat Portal 2.
dude, it beat a lot of stuff. Like, let's look at the top 10 here real quick. We got number 1 Terraria, number 2 Portal 2, number 3 Witcher 3, nice. Number 4 Hades, number 5 Factorio, number 6 Stardew Valley, number 7. This one came out of nowhere for me. Euro Truck Simulator 2. What the fuck?
I could see it.
Like, apparently don't skip. It's one of the best games of all time, as this thing says.
Apparently.
Left 4 Dead 2, number
Naturally.
8. Number 9, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
It's not
And-
just me!
Yeah.
Number 10, RimWorld, and just real quick, because I've talked about it before, number 11, Phasmophobia.
Yeah, I checked that out the other day. The trailer's pretty bonkers.
I'm thinking about getting that game, even though I am usually very averse to spooky games.
Use a bitch.
I am a bitch. That's a fact I will 100% give up about myself. I am a bitch, big time.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the spoop.
But I can't believe there's a lot of insanely good games on that list, and also Euro Truck Simulator 2, and Terraria being at the top of all of those. Like, holy fucking shit! I think that
that's
really
a little
speaks
hard
to the
to
game.
believe.
That is pretty stellar.
All right,
But at the same time, it's been around for so long, you know, and it really is getting popular. But then again, so is a lot of the games on that list. Like Portal 2.
Portal 2, I mean, that's a staple. I can't think of anybody that I know that hasn't played Portal 2 other than Zach.
Yeah,
Zach.
that's accurate.
All right, so we've got upcoming game releases. Who wants to take those? Zar, you haven't done a lot of talking today.
All right, yeah.
Hold on. I was late. This is a big game release day. I'll take the game releases.
All right. I will recuse the game releases to you, Peaches.
But before we get into game releases, we actually missed one last very quick take. Super Seducer 3 was removed from the Steam store.
What?
What is Super Seducer 3?
We talked about it briefly on the podcast a few weeks ago. It's a straight up meme game where this guy gives you bad tips on how to pick up women.
Oh, well, clearly that is a travesty. We need that game back. Boo! Boo on you, Steam.
Wait. Is waifu
How dare you,
uncovered?
Steam?
Is waifu uncovered safe?
Oh, please. Please tell me.
Dude, every fucking like hentai game on Steam is fine. Don't worry, there's plenty of them.
Oh, thank God.
I about had a heart attack or an aneurysm. A heart aneurysm.
Don't scare me like that, Peaches.
All right, now moving on because that's all that deserves. So for our upcoming game releases on March 25th, we have Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, releasing for Xbox One and PC. I'm assuming this is already out for other consoles. Is that right?
Maybe? I haven't heard anything.
It seems weird that it only released for those two, especially the Xbox One of all things.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I get to flex my Spanish here. El Hijo, a Wild West tale, coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. Dandy Ace, coming out for PC. Dark, with a Q, the complete edition, coming out for PS5 and the Xbox Series X/S. Black Legend, coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X/S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
What I would do
Then
there is
for-
I'd just say all the Xboxes.
Yeah.
No, because it's not the 360 or the original Xbox. We got to be Pacific. Otherwise, these people are going to get mad. They're going to be trying to buy
fair.
Black Legend for the original Xbox.
Did you just say we have to be Pacific?
Yeah, and I was very Pacific to say Pacific.
Ah, foiled again.
Anyways, March 26th, we have Genesis Noir releasing for Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It Takes Two releasing for PS5, Xbox Series X/S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Monster Hunter Rise coming out for the Switch. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and I assume this is the remake, coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X/S. Then March 29th, we got one game release, Neptunia Virtual Stars. Super stoked for that one. Never heard of it, but love the name.
Stoked.
March 30th, we got Disco Elysium, the final cut, coming out for PS5, PS4, Stadia.
Oh my god, it's alive!
Yo!
No, you were supposed to be dead!
It's Stadia times, boys!
No!
How are you back?
And it is also releasing for PC. And then we got Evil Genius 2, World Domination, releasing for PC. And, oh god, this is a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
Look at this list!
This is why the list is big.
So, let's see if I can speedrun this. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, releasing for PC. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix, releasing for PC. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix, releasing for PC. Kingdom Hearts 3, releasing for PC. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, releasing for PC. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, releasing for PC. Fuck you, Kingdom Hearts. And
I love Kingdom Hearts.
Lastly, we got Narita Boy, releasing for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
All right.
So, for our hype up game this week, I actually picked one. We had enough games that I could actually pick a real one to hype up.
Kingdom Hearts 3?
Disco Elysium, the final cut.
Oh.
How could you not choose any of all of the Kingdom Hearts?
I do not like Kingdom Hearts, especially after playing Kingdom Hearts 3.
I do not like you.
That is fair. Again, I will agree with you till the end of time. But Disco Elysium, the final cut. Now, Disco Elysium is, funnily enough, something that is in my backlog and is actually a really interesting game.
You only chose this because it's a Stadia revival.
Yes, we gotta hype it up because it's coming out for that Stadia. It might be one of the last ones. We don't know. So get it for the Stadia while you can.
Lols.
And if you have a Stadia, I'm sorry.
But Disco Elysium is a really interesting game. Like, the game starts out and like your character just like is blackout drunk and does not remember anything about themselves.
I'm a little bit drunk.
And like you're trying to like investigate, figuring out what the fuck happened to you and also what the fuck is going on in the town that you are put in. So it's like you're simultaneously like investigating a town, but also trying to figure out who you, the main character, are in all of this.
I get a drink after this, right? Okay.
That sounds interesting.
And, yeah. It looks like Divinity, but it doesn't play like Divinity, if that makes sense. Like, it's a top down and you're like moving your character around, kind of like investigating stuff. And it's really interesting, and I really should have invested more time into it because I got confused like an hour in and I was like, I'll get back to this later. And then I didn't get back to it later.
And then I didn't.
It happens. That's why it's called a backlog.
Yeah. So, hype, I'm really hyped that Disco Elysium and like all its editions are coming out for these other consoles so that other people can experience this game. It had wildly good reviews on Steam for a while, and then when it went on sale, a bunch of people bought it and then were as confused as I was, but then decided to review bomb it because they couldn't figure it out.
Bummer.
But it's still got pretty good reviews on Steam. It's a good game. Check it out.
All right, Peaches. Thank you so much for all that stuff. Even though you were late, you pulled through in the end.
Yeah.
Thank you. I make up for being on time for me, but late for you guys.
I would use the word mediocre, but that works too. All right,
you're going to stop at mediocre? I would go worse than that, but all right.
All right, so what we're doing next week is we are doing a Let's Talk on the PlayStation 5 so far. We're going to give some hot takes. We're going to do a little history lesson. We're going to be talking about scalpers, the difference between the PS4 Pro and the PlayStation 5, and of course, my thoughts on all of these things as a PlayStation 5 owner. In fact, these two don't even need to show up. I would recommend that they don't.
Wait, we get a day off? Hell yeah. Let's go day drink.
No days off. You get to sit here and listen to me.
Oh,
Damn
man.
it.
But it's Sunday. I don't want to go to school.
Oh, you're coming.
Oh.
All right, with all that said, I think that is going to do it for this episode of the Game Tea Podcast. So thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
You just got your Game Tea.
Later.
If you like what you heard today and you're looking for more ways to get your Game Tea fix, check us out on Patreon. With bronze, silver, and gold tiers starting at $2 a month, there are several incredible rewards you can receive for supporting the show, such as a follow from us on Twitter, access to a monthly Q&A session, an invitation to our private Discord server, and even bonus episodes of the podcast only accessible to patrons. Your donations will be used to make the show even better. The link to Patreon is in the description with our social media, so go check it out. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea Podcast.